Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. We have got another brand new update video for you guys today. Hope we're keeping well and safe. Wolves finally announced a new signing yesterday in the shape of Matt Doherty. We've already done a little video on that one, so be sure to check it out if you haven't already. But we also had the announcement, sort of semi-announcement of the home kit last night, and obviously the full launch this morning. So Wolves cocked up this one a little bit. Obviously, we've already seen leaks of the home kit, and it's turned out to be the shirt that was leaked. But yesterday, I'd seen it on Instagram as an advertisement, so some timing or scheduling had gone wrong somewhere. So Wolves pretty much announced it yesterday, and then we had a bit of a ropey trailer or launch video for it this morning as well. But that's available. Really nice kit in my opinion. Nice. Basic, or basic's probably the wrong word, but plain, but it's still a really solid kit, and yeah, one of my favourites under Castor so far. And I'm sure that's already on sale for you guys to get now if you want to. Some big news though that has broke this afternoon, only a few hours ago actually, is about Stoke City. And of course we spoke a little bit earlier in the week about how a deal between Matthias Sarkic and Stoke City had fallen through. And Wolves have obviously still remained in talks to them. Now, Keanu Hoever was a player who was out on loan at Stoke City last year. It was reported a couple of days ago that Stoke were back in talks to maybe loaning him back. He had a really decent and productive spell there last season. The first half of the year he spent out on loan at PSV, struggled, didn't really get enough game time. Came back to Wolves and was loaned straight back out to Stoke City, where he did really well, grabbed them a couple of goals and assists, and they had a slight upturn in form, but it was probably just too little too late in regards to them to get any sort of push for the playoffs. So they're back in talks and already done the medical for Keanu Hoever. But it's not just going to be Hoever moving to Stoke City. They've gone for a double deal, and it looks like Chiquinho is going to be also going out on loan to Stoke City in the Championship. I think this is a crazy deal, but in reality, I think it's a really clever deal for both Wolves, Chiquinho, and I think Stoke City are getting a phenomenal football player as well. Chiquinho obviously signed for Wolves about 18 months ago and had a really, some strong spells and strong cameo appearances under Bruno Lage, but ultimately never really was able to break into a solid starting place. Unfortunately, he had a major injury for all of last season. We didn't see him at all, and he's already got some minutes under his belt in this pre-season. We saw him get an assist for Owen Farmer's goal in our first training game. But it's obvious now that Wolves just want to get him as much first-team minutes as they can, and I think a loan to the Championship is going to be a great place for Chiquinho to do that. Stoke City, with some of the players that they've brought in, I think Keanu Hoever's another good signing. I think they're gonna win football matches. And the best thing probably about both deals is that Wolves have made sure they've inserted a recall clause for January if both of these players do well, or obviously we need to bring them back to the club for whatever reason. So a little bit of a surprise at first, but when you look at it, I think for both players, both need minutes, both need a nice positive environment, and fingers crossed they're going to get the football and that they need at Stoke City. So Keanu Hoever and Chiquinho, both players going there on loan. Another player that has been linked this morning was a Portuguese striker, Hoever Chiquinho, currently playing for Sporting. Really talented young player. He stands at 6'4", so he's a bit of a unit of a forward, and slowly but surely breaking into the Sporting setup. They had a friendly during the midweek. And it was said that Wolves had some representatives there watching him. But Sporting do value him at least 20 million euros and would want a sell-on clause included in any particular deal. So this one for me at the moment seems unlikely, but definitely worth one to keep our eye on, because that came from Record in Portugal, who do tend to be quite a reputable source. No official proposal as of yet from Wolves, but it's as expected that Wolves could come in with an offer over the next few days or so. An interesting one as well has come out this afternoon from Argentina. Wolves have reportedly submitted an offer for current Boca Juniors forward Mateo Retegui. Retegui is a really interesting forward. Originally born in Argentina, currently representing Italy at an international level. He's played 3 games for Italy and scored 2 goals, one of them being against England and one of them being against Malta, my 2 nations. But yeah, 2 goals in 3 for Retegui. And also currently out on loan at Tigre in Argentina and got a really, really good record of goals. 19 goals in the 2022 season. And then this season so far, 21 games, he's got 11 goals and 1 assist. So his goal per minute is really, really solid. A really interesting talent. 24 years of age. I am intrigued about this sort of signing. If Wolves can get this one for the right price, I think it'd be very, very decent. I'm not going to sit here and say I've watched loads and loads of him, but he seems to be a very, very highly rated forward. Genoa in Italy are already in advanced talks with him, or have been, and it sounds like from reports that Wolves are trying to now hijack this deal. It's quite a complex deal to do because he plays the Boca Juniors, but currently out on loan at Tigre. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, but let's wait and see if anything does materialise from that, or whether it's just agents trying to put more pressure on Genoa to get the deal across the line. Another story broke this morning about Wolves and West Ham, among a number of English teams, looking at FC Midtjylland midfielder Emiliano Martinez. Not the Villa goalkeeper. This is a Uruguayan central midfielder. Had a pretty solid season for Midtjylland last season, and now obviously attracted interest from teams across England. And Wolves are flying, or have already flown. They're probably on the plane right now as I speak, to Portugal for the second time this pre-season, as they prepare for the big pre-season game against Porto on Tuesday. One of those players that is going to be meeting the club in Portugal is Fabio Silva. He's going to be returning to the squad this weekend, and fingers crossed we see him play and get some minutes against Porto. Of course, his future is still up in the air right now. We don't know what's going to happen. Can Lopetegui, who wants to assess him, wants to look at him in pre-season, can he convince him to stop at the club? Otherwise, there is a lot of interest across Europe for him right now. So, yeah, guys, lots of news, but some surprise news in there as well. But as always, be sure to hit that like button down below, guys. Subscribe to the channel at Talking Wolves everywhere on social media for all the updates across the weekend. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all very, very soon.